Hello to the gamers and any other people watching. I don't know. If you're not a gamer, why are you watching this video? Anyways, whoever you are, thanks for watching. Today I'm playing a game that I discovered while perusing the Google Play App Store, as I often do on occasion. Infrequently, yet frequently. I found a game called Ultra Pool. It is a deck builder roguelite in the vein as Balatro, and with everybody raving about Slay the Spire 2, Slay the Spire is great and all. It's if it wasn't for Slay the Spire, there wouldn't be a lot of other deck building roguelite games out there, but I think there's some other games that need some love, and this game is pretty neat. I think it's like they put the ball in Balatro. It's made by small indie dev studio, indie game, Ice Drop Games. There's some people. Look at that. And yeah, it's if you've ever played Balatro, it's a lot like that. Or if you've ever played an auto battler game where you combine things to level them up, you buy your guy and then you buy another of the same guy and you squish them together, you get a level 2 of that one guy. It's like that, but with pool balls. So I already played the first mode here, Chill Night. It's kind of like a glorified tutorial. It shows you one basic set of balls and you pass 10 nights. So let's mix it up a little bit. Let's do the wine mixer. This is the second game mode, and you have to beat this game mode to unlock the other difficulties. So let's do that. You get 2 other sets of balls added to the game. So normally, when you start on Chill Night, you just get like typical little like casino-esque kind of themed balls. You get pool balls, you got some dice, you got like a roulette ball, you got a pinball. I don't know. It's some like everyday items, but as balls. And then you mix it up here. You get 2 other sets. They got the nature set. It's like plants and bugs and stuff. And they got the tech set, which is like, I bet you can't imagine what tech even is. So let's get in there. Wine mixer, classic run. And level 1, as far as I can tell, round 1 is like almost always the same. You just get these 3 balls and you sink them and you move on with your life and go to round 2. So let's do that. Holy, that was a crazy shot. I didn't think that was gonna happen. We got 10 euros there. We scored 8 points. We only needed to score 1 point to succeed. And so our extra points got converted into more money, and our excess little shots that we didn't use, because we have 5 shots before you run out of attempts. We used 2 shots out of our 5, so we got 3 extra euros, and we had extra points, so we got, and we got $10. And look at that. We got a snack voucher. We can spend our snacks to buy snacks. And what are snacks? Well, they're like relics in Slay the Spire, okay? Or they're just like little items that aren't on the table. We don't play with them. They just give you a passive ability. So the wings, it makes the white ball have 20% less friction. I don't know what that means. It doesn't move 20% faster. But what's really cool is that it ignores the pockets. So you can't pocket your cue ball. That's cool. Cereal, first ball from your build, you pocket each round. Gains +1 permanently. So if I only use like these 1 balls, and you can see in the top left there, it says common, and then it says classic, and then it says number. So classic is the set. It's, you know, and a majority of my balls, I have 3 balls, all 3 of them are classic number balls. So my build is classic balls. So the first ball from my build, first classic ball I pocket each round permanently gains +1. So you can scale your balls up every round. That's pretty nice. Or we got this croissant. At the start of the round, give all of my balls +1. It's not permanent, but you know, if I have 10 balls, that's just like 10 free points. That's pretty nice. I think I'll just take that. What do we got here? Slot machine ball. See, it's a classic ball. That would have worked with the cereal earlier. Could put that in there, and let's get this beach ball, and let's get this dice ball, and let's just get it going. Look at that. Croissant, hard at work. Upgraded all of our balls. Gave them +1. Sink them? Didn't sink anything. We'll sink this beach ball. Give +1 to those pockets. Let's sink, or try to sink this slot machine ball. This is a crazy shot. I don't know if I could do this. No, I cannot. Well, you know, we tried. We don't have to go for the bonus points, but I like going for the bonus points. Oh, look at we're already, like, we wasted so many of our shots. Let's just sink this dice ball because it's worth 3. Alright, we got 20 points. We only needed 6, so we passed, but I could definitely do better. I could have been sinking more of those balls. Now we got something interesting here. Look at that. The conveyor ball. Uncommon tech ball. Not a classic ball. A tech ball. Because conveyor belts are technology. If you sink this ball, move all balls in a random direction for 0.3 seconds. Now, if you think about that for a little bit, you might realize that if you sink this one ball, it will move all balls. So, this game gets a little wacky. I don't even have to hit the balls anymore for them to move. They'll just start moving if you do things, depending on what kind of ball you got on the table. So let's see if we can see that in action. Oh. Did you see that? It was 0.3 seconds, so it might have been hard to see, but when I sunk the conveyor ball, it moved all the balls up and that way. So that's for a, you know, a little bit. You can imagine if I got like a lot of balls that move balls, or if I upgrade that ball, because you can upgrade the balls. That's like the whole point of the game. You could start getting some things really moving. The dice ball is at 5. That's pretty high. The highest it could be is 6. 5 is, I'd say, quite satisfactory. Let's get that in there. Interestingly, because only former real pool I've ever played is like 8-ball pool. There's no penalty in this game for sinking your cue ball, really, other than just like, you know, you don't control the end point of the ball. It just kind of plops it down in the middle of the table. So I wonder if, you know, maybe in the full version of the game, when they're done with development, they release 1.0, maybe there'll be another game mode where you get penalized. Maybe there'll be 8-ball pool mode or something. I don't know. That would be pretty neat. We got another meal ticket. We can get some food, snack, toast, pocket non-bread balls, grow a bread by 1. And then it says, grow, if it exists, buff it, otherwise spawn it. And by it, I believe they mean a bread ball. So that's pretty neat. Every time I sink anything, I just get a free bread ball. And it scales itself. That's pretty nice. Key lime. If you pocket 3 balls, unlock a ball. I haven't messed with this at all, but I've seen some balls that say that they'll start locked, or they'll start, or like you sink them and then they spawn another ball that's locked, and then I'm guessing that, you know, every 3 balls with this you unlock a ball that is locked, and then you give it 2 points. It seems a little underwhelming. Strawberry. I like the idea of this. Give a pocket at the start of a round plus 3 score. If you give one pocket plus 3 and you just try to aim for that one pocket over and over again, you know, that extra 3 score can add up pretty quickly. But I think the bread ball, the toast, is the most fun. It spawns extra balls. And what's not to like about that? And we've got 2 bread products on our little tray here. That's nice. Let's upgrade our dice ball. Buy a second dice ball. Put it on our first dice ball, and now it's a level 2 dice ball. Instead of rolling 1 to 6, it can roll 1 to 12. Let's get this piping ball. When it spawns, it will create oil drops. The oil drops can accelerate a ball that passes over it. That's pretty nice. I don't care for the brick ball. I mean, you know, you can see a vision maybe. You run a bunch of brick balls. They all hit the walls, and then you knock them in the hole. Maybe, actually, the brick ball would be pretty good with the conveyor, because the conveyor could bump the brick ball into the wall and then bump it. Anyways. Moss. Look at this. We got 3 balls from one nature set here. The moss, if it receives a buff, it gives +1 to another random ball. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, the only buff that I can give it is this croissant buff at the start of the round, so it would only pop once. Not super useful with what I've got going on here. Flower bush, spawn and sink it. You know, plant 2 flowers. That could be pretty useful. The flowers, they're just little things that the balls can pick up, and they get buffed. So the flower and the moss ball, if I get them together, they will work together. So you know what? Let's combine our number balls here. We've got 2 2s now. Now let's keep this moss ball and get this flower bush. Maybe we can sink the flower bush and try to bump the moss ball into the flowers. And look at that. We're already getting a little bit of synergy stuff going on. Oh, that was a good first break right there. We sunk 4 balls. Sank 4 balls? How does sunk and sank work? Does anybody know? 11. That's pretty good. I might want to go for that. Is sunk like a singular verb, and sank, is that like plural, or I don't know. You could say the ship sank, and that's a singular. I don't know how that works. The ship sunk. I mean, they're both just like past tense forms of sink, right? The English language. How peculiar. That looks like it'll go in. And it does. And then we sink that bread ball too, just incidentally there. Let's sink this 7. And let's sink our biggest ball. Or we're already over the score, so let's just try to do something cheeky here. How would we go about this? What do I think could sink multiple balls? Maybe something like that? No, but it did hit a bunch of balls, and that's pretty cool. Another dice ball, roulette ball. I mentioned that at the beginning, didn't I? Look at that. It's a classic ball and a tech ball, so it comes from 2 different sets. That's pretty nice. Let's combine our 2 balls and get this roulette ball. I like the roulette ball. Every time you sink any other ball, this gives a pocket +1 score. That's pretty nice. So let's do that. Let's roll this again. We can upgrade this beach ball. I like this mushroom ball. That's pretty cool. You know, when you sink this ball, give this ball score to the closest ball. Now, I don't have too many forms of ball buffing, but you could see the vision probably, right? You get a lot of these flowers, or you get a lot of other relics that give your balls extra points, and this mushroom can accumulate a lot of points, and then you sink the mushroom and it passes on its points to another ball, so you essentially like doubled the mushroom. It's pretty neat. Ooh, we can upgrade our flower ball. Let's do that. Oh my goodness. Sorry. An alarm went off. Let's hit play. Look at that. Let's try to sink everything in there. Oh, the conveyor ball went off again. It moved everything to the top left there. That's pretty nice, I think. Let's go for the flower ball up there. Look at that. We spawned even more flowers. And that, if possible, I would like to bump that green moss ball into all these flowers. That would be ideal. We bumped some things in there. We bumped that beach ball into a pocket. It buffed this bottom one like crazy. And the roulette ball, you know, we've already sunk 5 balls. This roulette ball buffed a pocket 5 times. A random pocket, but pretty consistently this bottom right pocket. So if possible, we would like to aim for the bottom or the right pocket there. Let's send this guy through this little valley of flowers. And look at that. Picked up 3 buffs, and then it passed on 3 buffs to other balls. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Let's try to get it down. Get it down there. How does that look? You think that'll go in? Maybe like this a little bit, just to be safe. Oh, not quite, not quite. Oh, the terrible shot. Terrible shot. Let's try to bump this bread ball into that one. Let's see if we get anything else afterwards. Oh, look at that. We bumped that in there, and then we bumped that ball up there. That's pretty nice. We got another piece of food. Olive. Gain 1 shot at the start of a round. That's pretty useful. Pocket 3 balls. Spawn 1 scrap. I believe 1 scrap means 1 scrap ball. Crisp sandwich. Spelt with a T for some reason. Sandwich, like the Wicked Witch of the West. Start of round. Give every pocket -1 multiplier and +5 score. Now that's pretty interesting. We remove the multiplier, but as long as our balls, you know, aren't bigger than 5, it's kind of okay. This is kind of better than just like getting multiplied by 2, but you know, with all these flowers respawning and the croissant, we are getting reasonably bigger than 5. But you know what? Let's try this. Most of our balls are worth less than 5. So I feel like +5 is a little better than ×2. And let's see. We got a lot of money to work with here. See if we can get any upgrades. I like this one, the turbine ball. If you down another ball, launch and +1 another ball. It's kind of like the roulette ball, but instead of giving +1 to a pocket, you give +1 to a ball, and it launches it like the conveyor a little bit. Like the conveyor a little bit. So you know what? Let's get rid of this golden ball. It's worth 1 point. Doesn't do a lot. Just you sink it and it gives you $2. Let's get this conveyor ball or this turbine ball, and then we can see if we can get things like really moving around. Get some cascading effects here. Yeah, so now all my pockets are don't have a ×2 multiplier, but they have a +5, and all my balls are worth 5 or less. So it's kind of great. Oh, well, now this is worth a lot more than 5, but I feel like maybe overall it might be a net positive just for everything else going on, right? Let's try to sink that flower ball. Oh, and we got the green ball in there. That's a good shot. Let's try to pocket this. There we go. Pocket that beach ball. Try to buff up more of our pockets. Our pockets are getting good. +8 up on that one. That's pretty good, huh? Let's try. You can just bump that in there. Oh, did you see that weird movement on the roulette ball? It was going down, and then it randomly got pushed up. If you're wondering why that happened, it's because we sunk this 5 ball, and the turbine ball launched the roulette ball. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. I say. Oh, look at that. Nice. And, let's try to get this through some of these flowers here. Pass along some extra buffs. Sunk that bread ball. This roulette ball's gotten mighty big. Let's try to sink that in. Oh, we just got that one. And nothing else. But easily secure the quota. Oh, look at that. That's not a moss ball, it's a bush ball. If this receives a buff, increase it by 1. That's pretty neat, huh? If it gets buffed by the croissant, or by the moss ball, or by a flower, or by the turbine, any of those things, it adds a flat +1. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. So what's something that's not doing a lot? We can. I think the oil drops are cool, but you know, at the end of the day, this ball is only worth 1 point. This bush ball has the potential to be worth quite a bit more. So let's get that. Pay 3 to get +1 on this ball. No thanks. Upgrade the roulette ball. Now, every time we pocket another ball, the roulette ball gives a pocket +2. It's twice as good. What else we got here? Ladybug. Down another ball. The ladybug moves itself towards the nearest flower for half a second. That's pretty cool. There's a drill ball. It's got that locking mechanic I was talking about with the key lime thing earlier. If you remember that. Wow, look at that. It spawns a locked drill. And what does lock mean? It can't move unless it's moved by an effect. So you don't need the key lime thing to move a locked ball, but it can help because we got this conveyor ball. It moves all balls, and that's an effect. Or we got the turbine that could move the locked ball, and then it'll be like a normal ball. Let's get the gotcha ball. Let's just see what we get in there. Apple, give 2 other random balls +1. it's worth 2. It buffs 2 other balls. We can swap out this 4 ball. I don't want to roll anymore. I only have 5 euros. The reroll would cost 3. You can't buy another ball. So let's play. Ole. We got so many particles. It's glorious. Let's drop this in there. Oh, let's drop the flower ball in there. Look at that. Rolled a 12 on the dice ball. That's as good as we can hope for. Let's try to get that in. Look at that. That pocket on the right is worth 11. How can I? You know what? 9 is pretty good. Let's get that in there. But there's no multipliers to worry about anymore because I got rid of all of them. So let's just do that. Let's try to get this moss ball through some flowers, maybe. 1, 2. That's cool. Let's get this apple in there. Maybe it'll buff something good. Nope. Let's get the moss ball through some more flowers. Maybe something like that. That didn't do much. We have to sink 1 more ball. Highest value ball we have is actually the 7 ball. Let's see if we can't get that in. Let's just make it simple. Straight shot. There we go, 81 out of 73. That one was not as good as I would have liked. That was definitely not as good as I would have liked, but we still made it over the goal. That's what matters. There's the cereal coming back. There's the nuts. I think I'm just gonna not buy any of these. We can hold on to our food voucher for the next round. Maybe we'll get something better. Not seeing anything too interesting. We can buy the scrap ball. I've learned that the scrap ball is actually pretty useful. You upgrade it, and then it transforms into any random tech ball. So that's pretty neat. Level 2 gold ball. Don't need that. Level 2 conveyor ball. That's pretty nice. I can't afford it. It costs 8. Let's sell our 4 ball. It's worth 3. Now we can afford this. Yeah. Oh! Did you see that? Now that was pretty crazy. There was a lot of stuff happening in one shot. One shot, we sinked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 balls. And we still have so many to work with. Let's see, let's go like this. Bank it off the right wall and get it in that left middle pocket. Nice. We can try to get this green ball through these flowers. It should get 4 points for doing that. It did. Let's sink it through there. Nice. Oh, what the heck? AMD auto update. Could you not? Oh my goodness. Let's sink this. Oh, we rolled a 10 on the dice ball. That's very nice. Let's try to get that in. Can't do that. No shame in just going for that 7. We're already way over the quota, so it's fine. And then let's get this red ball in there. Oh, bad shot, bad shot. Oh well. 142 out of 96. That's a lot better than last round. Oh, look at that. We got a rare ball. Dandelion ball. Plant as many flowers as this has score. So that's a pretty neat ball if you can get its score to be really high and then plant a bunch of flowers. Whatever you got left has a lot of flowers to pick up, and that's just more points. Honestly, it's kind of like a weird version of the mushroom ball, actually. Now that I think about it, the mushroom ball is low-key better. You just put all of its points into one ball instead of like spreading them out. But in some scenarios, picking up a bunch of flowers is probably good. Like if you got this moss ball, picking up all those flowers, that's twice as good as just getting buffed by the mushroom. We still got our food thing, so let's go check it out here. See if we got anything better. Cake, we can sell it to heal for 1. Well, we haven't lost yet, so I'm not worried about healing. Mini muffin, round end, pocket your lowest ball. It's just a free extra little pocket. Let's get that. We got a nice, very carb-centric platter here. Lots of bread. Smiley face ball. I like him. He gives you extra shots if you sink him. Let's get this gotcha ball. Another moss ball. Now we got a level 2 moss ball. Every time the moss ball receives a buff, +2. Printer. That's pretty neat. When you sink it, you spawn a level 1 blueprint ball, and the blueprint ball transforms into the first ball it hits. Pretty neat. Kind of hard to get it to work, I feel like, but if you got one like really crazy ball, the blueprint ball could be kind of crazy itself. Another gotcha ball? We got a gotcha. Oh, I got a number. I'm just gonna sell that. Waste of money. Nesting doll ball. Sink it, spawn a copy of this ball 1 level lower if possible. Well, if we buy this, it's level 1, and 1 lower level than 1 is not possible in this game, so this is kind of worthless. So let's go into round 9. See what we got. Oh, ole, we sunk 5 balls right away. Very clean. Sink that one, sink those. Okay. Let's go for that. We can start sinking some of these red balls. We're not looking too hot here. It might have been a mistake to get rid of our multiplier, because obviously multiplier scales a little better than just +5 flat, but luckily, we should have thought about this before we entered the round 9 here, but if we make it past here, and I think we will, I can sell my sandwich, which will give my multiplier back. So hopefully we get out of here unscathed. We rolled a 10 on the dice. Let's sink that. And there we go. We've secured the dub on this round. Can sink this red ball. Oh, just kidding. Let's try again. There you go. And let's go for a bounce shot on the moss ball. Try to pass it through the flower and then into the hole. Nope. Well, we already secured the win on round 9 here. I'm gonna sell the sandwich because I think we've made it about as far as we can with the sandwich, and now it's kind of a detriment. So let's get rid of it our pockets no longer have +5, but they got the multiplier. They multiply the score of the ball by 2, so that's pretty nice. Oh, we got another level 2 flower ball. We can get a level 3 flower ball now. Very nice. Let's see, what else can we do? What else can we do? Let's buy a new thing here. We can sell this to obtain an upgrade ball. I don't know if that's even worth it. Would I get like a level 1, maybe a level 2 upgrade ball because this is an level 2 item. I don't know if that's worth it. We can give +3 to 1 pocket. And we have the multipliers now. Or we can just do this. First ball you hit each shot, not each round, each shot gains +1. So if we keep hitting one ball over and over again, we scale it up. We get some chocolate to go with our croissant and our muffin. Yeah. You know what? Let's just roll, see what we get. A toolbox. Okay, this is pretty cool. So let's sell this apple. Let's sell the gold ball. And we can sell one more. I will sell this piping. And then we can buy the toolbox. And when you sell this toolbox, it gives your front ball +2. If it's scrap, upgrade it. Otherwise, transform it into scrap. But we have scrap. So when the scrap gets upgraded, it transforms into any random other tech. We got a wheel. I actually have, at first, I didn't like these wheels because I didn't understand them. But now, I'm a huge wheel respecter. You sink this ball, and you get +1 on 2 random balls. It's like that apple that we just sold, but it launches the balls instead of just giving them points. So like this is like a really good little engine piece. Because there's some balls that when you sink them, they'll generate scrap balls, and there's some other balls that when you sink them, they'll upgrade a scrap ball. And if you're upgrading and sinking scrap balls and generating more scrap balls, and they turn into other random tech, you know, because the scrap balls turn into tech when they get upgraded, they turn into a wheel, and then the wheel, you know, and they turn into a turbine, or they turn into a conveyor, and it starts a chain reaction of just like a bunch of stuff spawning and moving and generating other balls. It gets pretty out of hand. So that's why I've become a huge respecter of the wheel ball. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Just chaos. Wonderful. Let's get that 5 in there. Nope. Okay, let's sink the wheel ball. Bump a bunch of stuff there. That's nice. We rolled a 10 on our dice ball. That's pretty good. Let's try to sink it. Perfect shot. I'm okay with sinking our bread ball. Let's sink this 6 here, maybe. Let's just hope that is enough power to go in. It was not. Instead, maybe I'll try to launch this moss ball into the flowers. Spread some buffs. We sunk it. That's okay. We got this huge bush ball here. It received so many buffs, and every time it gets a buff, it increases the buff by 1. So, you know, most of our buffs are just +1, so it's basically doubling all the buffs it's getting. It's really good. We'll sink the 7. We can sink this bread ball. Maybe. Like that? Nope. Okay. We're 158 out of 150, so we already won. So let's just go for a crazy shot, see if we can sink as many balls as possible. Well, there you go. Round 10. Oh, and our muffin sank one more ball. Round 10. We got there. We won the game. And yeah, that was Ultra Pool. As you can see, it's like pool, but ultra. And they got a lot of wacky balls and mechanics that interact with each other, and you can upgrade the balls. And like you saw me go ramble on and on about the wheel ball. It's a cool game. I'm excited to see what they have in store for the full release. This is just a demo. You can go play it. It's free to play on Steam and the App Store. I don't know, maybe not the App Store, but Google Play at least. It's on Google Play, and you can, you can play all the difficulties on Classic. At least all the difficulties that are in the demo. There might be more later, and there's, look at that. There's a lot of balls in this game. So lots you can do in the demo, and there's like customization. You can like choose colors. I just unlocked yellow. Look at, there's all that stuff. There's achievements, not that many in the demo right now, but there's probably gonna be a lot more. Cool game, Ultra Pool, Ice Drop games. Go check it out. I'm out. Peace.